Ever wondered what happens when you just disappear from someone's life? I'm not talking about pulling back slightly. I mean vanishing completely. No texts, no calls, no contact. What would they really feel when you're gone? Because here's the truth, brother. In a world where people treat loyalty like it's disposable, silence is the one thing they never expect. When you walk away without warning, it's not weakness. It's power disguised as peace. And that silence will make them confront a reality they've spent years avoiding, that they never had control to begin with. Welcome to Stoic Station, where we break down the psychology of distance, silence, and self-mastery. In this video, we'll uncover the 10 painful truths a woman realizes when you disappear, from the shock of losing control, to the regret that slowly consumes her, to the moment she understands your peace is something she'll never touch again. By the end, you'll see exactly why walking away isn't running from the battle. It's winning it without lifting a sword. So before we dive in, hit subscribe and start this journey now. Because the moment you understand what truly happens when you disappear, you'll never chase validation again. You'll command respect without saying a word. And before we begin, tell me this. Drop a 1 if you've already walked away once and felt the power shift. Drop a 2 if you're ready to find out what really happens when you do. Stay until the end, brother, because this isn't just a story about her regret. It's the blueprint of your rebirth. Now, let's dive in. 1. The shock of losing control. You were never supposed to disappear, brother. In her mind, you were predictable, steady, available, safe. You were the man she could count on to answer, to show up, to care. Your reliability gave her a sense of power. She believed no matter how she acted, you'd always be there. That was her comfort. That was her illusion of control. But when you vanished without a word, you shattered that illusion completely. You didn't rage, you didn't explain, you simply removed yourself. And that's what broke her the most. Silence exposes the truth faster than words ever could. When you were there, your presence made her feel secure. When you disappeared, it exposed the imbalance she pretended not to see. Her control was never real. It only existed because you kept showing up. Her comfort came from your consistency. Your love made her feel certain that no matter what, you'd always return. That certainty was her hidden power until you took it away. Now she's left in free fall. Every unanswered message feels like gravity turning against her. Every time she reaches for you and finds only silence, her confidence fractures a little more. She thought she could treat you like an option, but when you walked away, she realized options can disappear too. That's when fear begins to replace pride. She scrolls through old messages, replays your laughter, and asks herself the question she once thought she'd never need to. How did I lose someone who never tried to leave until I pushed too far? Don't explain. Don't correct. The moment you stopped chasing, you handed her the mirror, and she finally saw who truly needed who. You became the reflection of her own imbalance, the proof that security built on someone else's effort never lasts. Brother, that's the shock of losing control, when the person who once gave you stability quietly walks away and the silence becomes the loudest sound in the room. Have you ever seen that look? When someone realizes the moment they lost control was the exact moment you found yours. Drop your thoughts below, because what happens after this shock is the beginning of the void she'll never be able to fill again. 2. The void you left behind. At first, she'll tell herself she's fine. She'll smile louder, laugh harder, post more. She'll make it look like nothing changed, like she's glowing without you. But behind every picture and every "I'm okay," there's a quiet she can't escape. Because when the noise fades and the lights go out, something cold starts echoing in the room, the void you left behind. You were never just a man standing next to her. You were rhythm. You were gravity. You brought stability to her chaos, calm to her storms, and balance to her noise. You didn't just fill space, you gave that space meaning. And now, without you, everything feels unanchored. The laughter of others feels forced. The attention of new men feels empty. Every attempt to fill that void only makes it louder. It's ironic, isn't it? The very things that once frustrated you, her silence, her distance, her detachment, are now the same things haunting her. That's the void speaking. It doesn't whisper, it consumes. It reminds her of every time she took your patience for granted, every time she ignored the energy you poured into her without asking for anything back. Now that energy is gone, and she feels its absence like a missing heartbeat. Brother, don't rush to fix the emptiness you didn't create. It's not your job to mend what she broke while you were busy holding everything together. That void is her lesson, the echo of a man who once brought peace she mistook for permanence. She thought you'd always be there, a constant she could lean on without ever wondering what would happen if you stepped away. But now she knows. Let her face it. Let her feel what it's like to sit in silence that used to be filled by your calm voice. Let her scroll through memories she thought she'd forgotten, only to realize they're carved deeper now that you're gone. Because the truth is, the void isn't punishment, it's awareness. It teaches her that love isn't guaranteed, that presence has value, that peace was never just background noise. You see, when a man like you disappears, it doesn't just leave space. It leaves perspective. And once she's tasted what life feels like without your gravity, every new connection will feel like weightless air. That's the power of absence, brother. Have you ever seen someone pretend they've moved on while their eyes betray the emptiness they're drowning in? Share your thoughts below, because in the next truth, we'll uncover how that emptiness slowly turns into obsession. 3. The obsession of unanswered questions. Curiosity is a quiet punishment, brother, and she's about to feel every ounce of it. She thought she could move on without closure, that she could brush you off and bury what she felt. But silence has a way of haunting those who underestimate it. Now her mind starts chasing ghosts. Where is he? Who's he with? Why hasn't he reached out? The same woman who once ignored your messages now overanalyzes every second of your absence. The human brain hates uncertainty more than pain, and your silence, steady, disciplined, intentional, is the perfect storm of both. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. When she can't read your next move, she begins to lose her balance. She checks your social media, scrolls through old photos, even reaches out to mutual friends. But there's nothing, no hints, no traces, just a blank space where your presence used to be. And that absence becomes the loudest noise in her mind. Here's the irony. The less she knows, the more she feels. The less you show, the more she imagines. And imagination is far crueler than reality. Her mind becomes a movie she can't stop replaying. You with someone else, you laughing again, you at peace without her. Every scene burns because she's not the one in it anymore. That's how silence works. It doesn't just hide you. It turns you into a mystery she can't solve, and mysteries are addictive. Brother, the power isn't in what you say, it's in what you don't. So disappear completely. No updates, no breadcrumbs. Don't give her the comfort of knowing where you are or who you've become, because the moment you do, she stops wondering. But when you stay silent, her mind keeps running marathons around your absence, and every thought of you pulls her deeper into obsession. You see, curiosity turns to fixation when the answers never come. That's when the control flips. You no longer chase her thoughts, she chases yours. The silence that once felt heavy for you now becomes her burden to carry. And when a woman starts chasing a mystery, she begins to realize what she lost wasn't just a man, it was certainty. That's the kind of power no apology can recover. Have you ever watched someone unravel trying to figure out what your silence meant? Drop your thoughts below, because what happens next is even more powerful. When curiosity fades, reflection begins, and that's when the real regret starts to grow. 4. The mirror of regret. When the world stops giving her answers, brother, there's only one place left to look: inside. And that's when it starts to hurt. The same pride that once made her feel powerful now becomes the weight pulling her down. She starts asking herself questions she once swore she'd never need to. Was I too cold, too proud, too blind to see what I had? This is the stage where regret begins to claw through her confidence. It doesn't announce itself. It seeps in quietly, like water under a locked door. She replays every conversation, every time she brushed off your effort, every moment she rolled her eyes when you tried to reach her heart. The ego she once hid behind, those defenses that made her feel untouchable, begin to crumble under the weight of her own reflection. Regret is a silent punishment. It doesn't scream, it replays. It forces her to watch scenes of her own carelessness over and over, until the sound of your laughter in her memory starts to sting more than the silence in her reality. The silence, once her weapon, now becomes her punishment. Because now there's no you to soften the edges of her guilt. There's no warmth to run back to, no patience to meet her halfway. Let her wrestle with her own reflection. You don't have to teach her the lesson. Your absence already did. Your silence became her mirror, showing her not what she lost, but how she lost it. That's the cruel beauty of distance. It reveals truth in a way closeness never could. Brother, don't break that mirror for her. Don't return to ease her pain, because it's that discomfort that shapes awareness. When regret replaces pride, humility begins to grow. That's the start of her reckoning, the quiet moment when she realizes the apology she owes is one she can't deliver. Have you ever seen that look in someone's eyes when they finally understand they pushed away something irreplaceable? Share your thoughts below, because what follows next will change everything, the regret that turns into pursuit. 5. The craving to chase. This is where the story flips, brother. For months, she believed you'd be the one to break. She told herself you'd reach out, that your silence was temporary, that you were still orbiting around her world. But when the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, something inside her shifted. The silence she once found empowering now starts to suffocate her. Now she feels the pull, that restless urge she can't control. She begins to move in small, calculated ways, sending those half-hearted texts, liking old photos, posting vague stories that scream for your attention without ever saying your name. You've seen it before, the desperate performance of indifference. The louder she pretends she doesn't care, the clearer it becomes that she does. Every move she makes is a quiet confession of what she's losing grip on: control. This is where your discipline is tested. Don't break the silence. Don't respond to the bait. Because her pursuit right now isn't driven by love, it's driven by fear. Fear of losing the power she once had. Fear of being forgotten by the man who once gave her validation. The more she chases, the more she feels the imbalance, and that's when the illusion collapses. Let her chase a ghost long enough, and she'll realize it's not you she misses. It's who she was when you still cared. The attention you gave her built her confidence. Your absence now exposes the cracks. She's not longing for your presence. She's longing for the reflection of herself that existed only in your affection. Brother, don't let her pull you back into the old dance. The moment you respond, she'll find her footing again, and you'll lose yours. Stand still, stay silent, and let her chase the echo you left behind. Have you ever seen that moment, the shift when the pursuer becomes the pursued? Drop your thoughts below, because what comes next is where the regret turns into a false freedom, one that never lasts. 6. The freedom that turns empty. When you first disappeared, she called it liberation. She told her friends she finally felt free, that she could breathe again without the weight of your presence. But brother, that kind of freedom is a sugar rush. It tastes sweet at first, but it never lasts. Because what she's really feeling isn't peace, it's distraction dressed up as healing. In the beginning, she fills her schedule with noise, new people, new parties, new photos that shout, "I'm thriving." She laughs louder, moves faster, and convinces herself she's glowing without you. But freedom that's built on avoidance eventually cracks. When the lights dim and the world grows quiet, that's when the emptiness creeps in, the kind she can't post away, can't flirt away, can't drink away. She doesn't realize it yet, but she's learning the difference between being alone and being at peace. One is loud and restless, the other is calm and grounded. You once gave her that grounding, that sense of emotional gravity that kept her anchored. Now everything feels weightless, and she's starting to float in circles, untethered. That's the cost of confusing attention for connection. She can have dozens of people orbiting her, but none of them carry the quiet steadiness you once brought. Every new face reminds her what's missing: depth. The kind of depth that can't be replaced by more followers or another fleeting romance. So let her sit with that contradiction. Don't rescue her from the silence she once craved. Let her feel how hollow that freedom really is when there's no foundation beneath it. Because the longer she pretends she's free, the more she'll realize what she actually lost wasn't control, it was meaning. Brother, have you ever watched someone finally get everything they thought they wanted only to realize it came without substance? Drop your thoughts below, because the next truth cuts deeper. When false freedom fades, the games begin. 7. The games that no longer work. When regret starts to sting too deeply, she makes one last move. The game. You'll see it in the stories she posts. The subtle captions aimed at no one but meant for you. The sudden pictures with people she barely knows. It's all carefully staged, every smile rehearsed, every move calculated to spark jealousy. She wants to provoke a reaction, to remind herself she still matters in your world. But brother, here's where your silence becomes her undoing. You see, the beauty of silence is that it strips away performance. It reveals what's real and what's just theater. The more she tries to act indifferent, the more transparent her pain becomes. Every attempt to get your attention ends up highlighting the emptiness behind her actions. She flirts where she knows you might see, laughs a little too loud, moves a little too fast, all to make you look. But you don't, and that's what breaks her script. Remember this: manipulation dies in the absence of attention. The moment you stop reacting, she loses her weapon. Your calm dismantles her control, because peace cannot be provoked. Let her play. Let her exhaust herself trying to stir a storm that no longer exists. Because when your peace becomes stronger than her performance, she's forced to face what she's truly battling: her own emptiness. This is the power of detachment, brother. It's not revenge, it's revelation. The game she started to get your attention ends up showing her reflection. She learns painfully that you no longer exist in the audience she performs for. Have you ever seen someone realize the show is over, and the silence in the room is louder than applause? Drop your thoughts below, because the next truth is heavier still. The weight of silence she once celebrated will soon crush her pride. 8. The weight of your silence. Silence isn't emptiness, brother. It's pressure. It's gravity. And when it comes from a man who once gave warmth, it doesn't feel like distance. It feels like judgment from the universe itself. Every moment you remain silent, the air around her thickens. The quiet becomes a mirror she can't look away from. She rereads old messages, looking for clues, searching for signs that maybe she still means something. But nothing comes, and that nothing becomes everything. In a world obsessed with noise and instant replies, your absence feels eternal. She's surrounded by people, conversations and distractions, yet all of it sounds hollow next to the silence you left behind. The stillness unsettles her because it exposes what she tried to ignore, that she no longer has access to your energy, your calm, your presence. That's when your silence becomes your power. It's not revenge, and it's not cruelty. It's discipline, the kind that speaks without words. It says, "My peace costs too much to be disturbed." Every second you stay silent teaches a lesson her pride would never let her hear before. Not every man fights to be understood. Some simply walk away and let silence do the explaining. Let her face that weight. Don't lift it for her, because silence isn't what destroys people, it's what reveals them. When the noise fades, what's left is truth, and truth can be a heavy thing to carry. Brother, have you ever seen how silence can turn from peace into power, and from power into reflection? Drop your thoughts below, because what comes next is the turning point, when fear begins to take the shape of desperation. 9. The fear of being replaced. Then comes the fear, brother, the kind that keeps her up at night. It's not just loneliness anymore, it's panic. What if he's found someone better? Someone calmer, stronger, more aligned? That question repeats in her head like a song she can't turn off. It hits deeper than any argument ever could, because it exposes the one thing her pride could never protect her from: being forgotten. For the first time, the power dynamic reverses. She becomes the one measuring her worth against your absence. She wonders if your silence means you've moved on, if your peace means someone else is now part of it. Every day you stay quiet, that fear grows louder. She imagines you out there, calm, collected, smiling in a way she hasn't seen in a long time. And that image burns more than any angry goodbye ever did. But here's the truth. You don't need to post, prove, or flaunt anything. You don't need to show her what she lost. Your silence already whispers it. It says, "I'm not waiting anymore." It speaks of self-respect, of emotional independence, of a man who has outgrown the chaos. That's what unsettles her most. Not your absence, but your evolution. The fear of being replaced isn't just about another woman. It's about her realizing that you no longer need her validation. That fear cracks her pride wide open, because for the first time, she's not the one choosing. She's the one being left behind. It's not your anger that punishes her, brother. It's your peace. And your peace is a mirror that forces her to see how much she lost when she taught you how to live without her. That's the real loss. Not that you walked away, but that she showed you you could. Have you ever seen that look in someone's eyes when they realize they've been replaced not by another person, but by your peace? Share your thoughts below, because what follows next is the final truth. When your silence no longer hurts her, it humbles her. 10. The peace that makes you untouchable. This is where everything comes full circle, brother. When you disappeared, it wasn't to punish her. It was to find yourself again. You didn't walk away out of anger or pride. You walked away because you finally understood that peace and chaos cannot coexist in the same space. And now, through your silence, your discipline, your stillness, you've become something she can no longer reach. A man grounded in peace. Emotional independence is the rarest and most powerful form of strength. You've learned that you don't need her apology to heal. You don't need closure to move on. You don't need validation to know your worth. The power you once gave away in your attempts to be understood, you've reclaimed through silence. That's what makes you untouchable. You've mastered the one thing most people never do: control over yourself. She can feel it now, even from afar. That calm energy radiates louder than any words you could ever say. The irony is that the more peaceful you become, the more she feels the chaos of losing you. Nothing unsettles the guilty more than a man who found peace after the storm they caused. Your calm becomes her consequence. Your silence becomes her teacher. She realizes that what once held her power was never her dominance. It was your willingness to stay. And now that you've outgrown the noise, she's left shouting into an empty room. You've reached a place she can't touch, not because you're hiding, but because you've transcended the need for reaction. You've become steady, deliberate, whole. That's what scares her most. The stillness she once mistook for weakness now reveals itself as strength. The man she thought she could control has become a man she can only remember. That's when she finally knows you're not coming back. Not because you're angry, but because you're free. You've stepped into a peace that no argument, apology, or memory can disrupt. Tell me, brother, have you ever felt that shift? The moment when you stop chasing understanding and start embodying it? Share your story below, because the men who find this peace are the ones who stop being haunted and start becoming whole. Brother, take a breath. You've come full circle, from silence to strength to peace. You didn't just walk away from someone, you walked back into yourself. That's what this entire journey has been about. Not revenge, not regret, but rebirth. And now, your calm speaks louder than her chaos ever could. You've proven that a man's greatest victory isn't what he conquers. It's what he no longer needs to fight for. That's the mark of mastery. If this message hit home, don't let it fade here. Anchor it, like this video, subscribe to Stoic Station, and share it with another man who's walking the same silent road. I'll see you in the next video, where we'll go even deeper into how peace turns into power, and how power, when mastered, becomes legacy.